Okay, so disclaimer. I was supposed to upload this video after the NBA Finals last year, and I never got to. So here it is. I'm sure you'll enjoy it anyway. All right, let's get into it. With the NBA season firmly behind us, the time is now to look to the future, and the first step is through the NBA draft. There have always been debates about which draft class is the best, whether it's Jordan's draft class of 1984, Kobe's draft class of 1996, or LeBron's draft class of 2003. With that being said, there's also the labeling of the worst draft class ever being named the 2000 draft. But what if we looked at a draft class that wasn't bad, but also wasn't good? It's time to take a look at the 2013 NBA draft. Leading up to that fateful day in June, the lottery order was decided a month earlier, and the Cleveland Cavaliers had lucked into the number one spot, as they had 2 years prior, when they picked Kyrie Irving first overall. I officially think that Dan Gilbert offered his sons to lottery gods as a blood sacrifice for LeBron leaving. Following them were some teams who were in desperate need of help with their top guys leaving, including the Magic, Suns, and Hornets. Charlotte, Washington, and Sacramento, and Minnesota had starters of their own, but were looking to add some help. The rest of these teams are either just really young or really mediocre. The star of everyone's eye in this year's class was Kentucky big man Nerlens Noel. Noel had some averages that had NBA scouts salivating, but he was injury prone as he went down with a bad knee. Regardless, he was projected to be the top pick and there wasn't much to choose from. Now it's time for the proceedings. As you're about to see, things went a little off grid. Here it is. The Cleveland Cavaliers have the number one pick in the 2013 draft, and based off of past years, they've had a pretty good track record with it. Nerlens Noel is now officially within grasp, and
with the first pick in the 2013 NBA draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Anthony Bennett of Toronto, Canada, and the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
the Cavaliers made a selection that was so bizarre, even Bill Simmons was shocked. But we're moving on, I guess. Orlando picked Victor Oladipo at number 2, Otto Porter Jr. went 3rd to Washington, Charlotte picked Cody Zeller 4th, and Alex Len went to Phoenix at number 5. Nerlens Noel was falling at an ignominious rate, but at least he wouldn't have to wait much longer when he's picked by New Orleans at number 6, who have a young Anthony Davis. Their defense is going to be outstanding. Oh, they traded him to Philadelphia. Okay, I guess. As we continue via a look over the rest of the first round picks, we begin to see some notable names including College Player of the Year Trey Burke, Lehigh standout CJ McCollum, and some skinny Greek kid. Pretty sure he won't amount to much. But let's shift our attention to Mr. Anthony Bennett, shall we? Coming out of UNLV, Bennett was an unknown commodity, but it was not alien that he would be picked this high in the draft. No one just thought he'd go, number 1 over Nerlens Noel. I'm sure he had a very lengthy, successful career, right? At long last, it's time to use some hindsight and figure out just how this 2013 draft class is mediocre at best. But how? That's simple. We look at the win shares each player has contributed to their respective team. Sure, it's been 7 years and several players have been on several different teams, but win shares are win shares nonetheless. If we look at the first round picks alone, the highest win share total belongs to Giannis Antetokounmpo, that skinny Greek kid who's become a Greek god in every sense of the word so far. And the second highest is 27th pick Rudy Gobert, who's become so good on defense, he stopped an entire NBA season. Even the subpar career of Mason Plumlee is here in the top 5. These are all subject to change, of course, but as we get lower, we stumble across those heavily sought after lottery picks who have been at the very least average at best. And then we make the ultimate discovery. When a prospect is picked as the number 1 draft pick in any league, the The standard is set for their expectations to go above and beyond to save a franchise and to lead them to victory and potentially even championships. Spoiler alert, Anthony Bennett did none of that. Among all the first-round picks who've secured win shares throughout their career in this draft class, Anthony Bennett is the worst at an 0.5. Here's a list of the previous 4 number 1 picks before Anthony Bennett and their win shares, as well as those from the draft classes I mentioned earlier in this video. And then there's Anthony Bennett. Wow. According to Basketball Reference, that's the worst win shares for a number 1 overall pick since Michael Oluwakandi in 1998. Anthony Bennett is so bad, he got released by a EuroLeague team and the Brooklyn Nets. But let's not dwell on this blight too much. There are still quite a few takeaways from the 2013 draft class. Seven years have gone by now, and since that fateful night in 2013, a lot has happened. Michael Carter-Williams debuted with a triple-double against the Miami Heat and won Rookie of the Year. Rudy Gobert, as mentioned, has won 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, and Giannis Antetokounmpo became the first player since Michael Jordan to win both the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year. But the only player in this draft class to win an NBA championship is 8th overall pick Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who broke out in the playoffs for the Lakers. If that's not mediocrity at its finest, I'm not sure what is. So when you think about the 2013 draft class, just remember, hindsight truly is 20/20.